Hello, I'm Sharon, and this is Trio.of.Witches Tarot, and this is part 11, and it is all of the rest of my decks from U, yes, to Z. And it's been a long journey. This took me a lot longer than I thought it would, and I learned some things about my decks along the way, and I even made some decisions and modified some decks after doing a video on them. And I will be doing some subsequent videos on all the decks I modified after doing a video on them, and any new decks that came in while I was doing this whole series. So let's get started. So we have one deck for V, and it is the Vetti Tarot, which I purchased directly from the creator, and she is Brazilian. Yes, Brazilian. I did trim mine because it was this big. It's still really big, but it's easier to handle now. And I didn't love the white borders that were on the, I don't care about the backs, but on the front there was a big white border this big as well. No, it looks okay, but, and just to show you how big it is, still even trimmed. At the time I did not realize that this was very limited and now out of print, I believe. The guide, the PDF guide, is in Portuguese, yes. So I have been at work translating that. Do not have it all translated yet. So this is a traditional RWS, but it is almost like more of an art deck than a tarot deck. I think a lot of that given the size of it. So that is the Vetti Tarot. I didn't realize how many rabbits were in it until just now. There's a lot of rabbits in this. And that is a very pretty death card. Really pretty. So that's the Vetti Tarot. So I think I said there was only one V, and I was totally wrong. So this is the Victorian Romantic. I think it's the 4th edition. And this is the additional guidebook you can get with it, which talks about a lot about the card, the meaning, their creation of it, the source artwork, because it is basically curated art that has been altered somewhat, but it still has a source art piece of artwork. So there's that extra book, and then it does come, so this is in the wooden box. It does come with a little white book. And it has alternate cards. We'll talk about those. So that's the little white book. Let's see if we need to zoom in. So this is the little white book, and it has meanings, it has some spreads, and then for each card it has just some keywords. So it's not, you're not going to get anything on dog hair, on, you know, the artwork in those cards. But you can still, it's still RWS based, so you can use it that way. So there is an alternate emperor. I chose not to use this guy. And nothing has been really renamed, so this is pretty traditional. Let's have a look. So I'm sure there is an alternate devil also and an alternate lovers. So let me look real quick. So yes, there are. So we have this much more chaste lovers and then this very sensual lovers. And then we have this one for the devil, which has more of a serpent and feels much more Garden of Eden. And then we have that one, which feels a little more gothic to me, a little vampire-y. So that's the Victorian romantic. So this is the Wayhome Tarot. And if I understand the story correctly, this book was put out first as a tarot guidebook, and the artists used their own images in it of a deck that did not exist yet, and then they created the deck afterwards. And so the court cards are more of a family. So we have a daughter and a son and a mother and a father on all the court cards. I don't think any of the majors are renamed. So there is this book that you could get with this deck or just get it on your own and use it as a guide. And that could be a totally wrong story. I may have misunderstood or been misinformed. So those are the backs, same as the front of this box. Not a fancy box, but a sturdy box, and it works. I edged mine in yellow. I think I like it sort of a greenish yellow. I like that. Came out nice. So there you go. One of my favorite Two of Cups. I just love those jellyfish in it, and the universe loved that card. So that's the Wayhome Tarot. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot, which I think at this point in the tarot world, you should have seen this a million times. This is the guidebook written like it's in hand script. And it's a nice little guidebook. I also have the mini, and it has this same guidebook, only in tiny form. And this is the mass market version. I purchased it from someone secondhand, so it doesn't have the box. So the backs, let's zoom in. Mostly black and white, with little pops of color here and there. that's the Wild Unknown. And this is the Wild Messengers. And it could be argued this isn't even a tarot. And I've seen a lot of people, I think Lisa on Supportive Tarot, she just likes the book. She doesn't really even like the deck. She just uses the book. And the book is really cool. And has a lot of interesting things for each card. So let's look at the cards. This is a cool book. This is out of print, and I apologize. I was able to trade for it, I think, on a Facebook group. Okay, so there are a couple extra cards in here. And there are a lot of changes in this deck. The aces are called Soul of the suit. And we don't have the traditional symbol of the card, like a sword and a cup and a wand and a coin. We have the elemental symbol, plus it's color coded. So that helps some. But then the majors are, for the most part, renamed. And then we don't have usual imagery on the other cards. So let's look at them. And then the court cards have also been renamed. So we have Seeker instead of Page, Initiate instead of Knight, Teacher instead of Queen, and Master instead of King. So that is the Wild Messengers Tarot. And this is the Wildwood Tarot. And it came in a big box, so I don't keep it in the big box. I keep it in this Moonlit Fae bag. And it has, this book comes with it, but there is also there's a year in the Wildwood, which is kind of a workbook. I think there's one more book, but I could be wrong. This again is kind of its own thing. A lot of the cards have been renamed, and the journey is different, and the suit names are a little bit different. We have arrows, and then bows, vessels, and stones. So I think arrows are air, yeah. So it starts with air, element air. So a suit of arrows is air. Suit of bows is fire. Suit of stones is earth. No, we missed suit of vessels somewhere. Suit of vessels is in here, and it's, where's vessels? Oh, there it is. Suit of vessels is water. So that's that. This is a mass market deck, and it's on decent cardstock. It's a little bit glossy. I think it looks nice, and it doesn't bother me at all. I hear people talking about that there's some matte version or whatever. I don't know. I think this one's fine. I love these backs, and I appreciate that there's no trademark on the back or the front. So let's look at the cards. Anyway, it's a beautiful deck. You could use it as a regular tarot, but it's not traditional at all. That's the Wildwood Tarot. And this is the Witch's Wisdom, which again is not a traditional tarot. It seems like the W's are full of non-traditional tarots. I edged mine. Okay, so let's take a peek at the book first. It is a nice guidebook, and it's well constructed, and it has a lot of info in it, and we get to page 38 before we get to and it starts with the minors. And then each of the cards has like a kind of a keyword on it. That's not on the card, but it's in the book. And then the court cards are renamed: Messenger, Witch, Craftsman, Goddess, and then we have water and earth. So the elements remain the same. So the suits are not hard to remember. Then the journey in the majors. Okay, so we have world, and then it ends. Find it. Ends at 0 pilgrim. And then in the back we have these tables to map these witch's wisdom to the writer. And so let's have a look. So I did renumber my cards. I left the labels as they were, and they are different than your traditional ones, but for the most part the label is in keeping. This reminds me of Marielle, with like shaman for the hermit, balance for justice, so instead of the devil we have the ancestor, instead of temperance we have instead of tower we have the maze. Love that star and that moon, that sun. And then the court cards, as we saw, are messenger, and then witch, and then craftsman, and then instead of the king we have the goddess. Now this larger format is, I believe, going out of print, and they're going to release it in a smaller size, maybe more normal tarot size. I don't know all the details about that, just what I've heard. So otters, of course. There is not a card in here that I do not love. So that is the Witch's Wisdom. And this is the Wisdom of the Depths Tarot, which comes in this. I don't think there is a PDF guidebook or anything. I think it's just this little book that comes with it. Is it even a book, or is it more of a fold out kind of a thing? Some spreads, and then a few keywords, which is kind of disappointing. I'd love to know more because it's a collage deck. I'd like to know more about the art that was selected. So I edged mine in 3 different colors. So we have pink and a blue, and then there's this darker one, which is a purple. And those are the backs. I love the backs. It's really pretty. It's really nice cardstock. So it's ocean beach themed collage deck. And even though there are only a couple of mermaids in it, the whole thing just feels mermaidy to me. That's the Wisdom of the Depths. This is Womanhood Revisited Tarot. It's by Francois Isabelle, and it is collaged and colorized art, curated art. I love that picture. And it just comes in this tuck box. I got it on Etsy. It's not expensive, maybe $20-ish. Comes with some extra cards, some stuff on both sides, and then some keywords for each suit. And then the majors, also some keywords, and then some how to read some cards. So there's no guidebook. This is it. All these cards are the guidebook. And it's on, it's not terrible cardstock. It's not great. It's okay. The backs I don't understand. I kind of think they're ugly. But whatever. It's fine. Should edge this. I'm gonna really, is that black or is it really dark blue? It's hard to tell. So let's look at the cards. So yeah, some of the art can be a little grainy. Some of it is really nice. I love this world card. And as you noticed, or not, there are keywords on the bottom of each of the cards, of the minors, which is cool or not, depending on your point of view. I like it. It's an interesting deck. Obviously, it's all women. So that's Womanhood Revisited. And this is the Yokai Yochi by Bubo Plague. It comes in this very nice box, and it is Japanese ghosts and spirits, gods and spirits, something like that. And it just feels very Japanese, everything about it. Not that I've ever been to Japan, but those are the most beautiful backs. And it does come with a guidebook, but it just has the name of the god or spirit, and then it just talks about kind of a little bit about what is in the card. It's very well done for so few words. Almost feels like they're all haikus or something, which actually would have been cool. Wouldn't that be cool if you had a haiku for each card? So I am in the process of gathering up the more in-depth information on each one of these and creating my own guidebook for them. It is gilded, and it is basically, those are the colors of the cards. So let's have a look at the cards. It's kind of a creepy deck. It's kind of creepy art, but I don't know, there's just something about it. The hype is real. The hype is real. So that's the Yokai Yochi. So we are at Z, and I only have one deck in Z, and it's in this bag. So maybe you can guess what my Z deck would be given the bag. It's the Zombie Tarot. So it comes with this little card-sized guidebook, which is really cute. And then it just kind of looks like an old, I don't know, it reminds me of like an old guidebook, like an old Boy Scout book or something. And I really like it. So that is the little guidebook. And then those are the backs. And so there's some oddities about this deck. So let's find, there's two different shades of these backs, first of all, which at first I thought, did I get a counterfeit deck? But then I researched it, and no, it's just how it was produced. So that's kind of annoying. And then the cards based on their back were two different sizes and not very good cut. So I had to do trimming on this deck. It's not perfect. I edged it and I had to re-corner around it. And it is a zombie deck. It feels very 50s nuclear age, very reminiscent of my childhood a little bit. Not so much that I grew up in this time, but that, you know, a lot of the shows I watched, it kind of feels like Leave It to Beaver with zombies, which is fun. And then we have wands, we have hazards, which I think are the pentacles. So that is the Zombie Tarot. It is very fun. So that is the end of all of my decks A to Z, barring an addendum that I may or may not make. This is a lot of work, way more work than I thought it would be. And I haven't even done my oracles yet. So that might be sometime later in the spring. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the bell so you know when I have new videos. Comment below. So take care of yourself and have a great day. Bye. Okay, so I've decided to do a giveaway for the length of all of my decks A to Z videos. So whenever I am done doing all of those videos, this giveaway will end. And it's for the Dreaming Way Tarot. It's a mass market deck. And you've probably seen this before. I'm not going to do a full flip through. It's a very nice deck. Just isn't one that I use. So I've decided to give it away. So this is open to everyone who is 18 years or older.